welcome to my channel. My name is Primrose, and what I'm going to be doing for you guys today is talking about the common misconceptions of Wicca. Now, the reason that I wanted to do this video was to set the record straight, give us Wiccans a chance to just educate people that might not be aware of some of the facts of Wicca, especially because there's so much out there that is, say, fictional. Like, you've got Harry Potter that is very mystical and very fictitious, and you've got the idea of what a witch or Wiccan is, and that it lives in the cabin in the woods, is a cranky old little lady that's going to come and eat all children, and it's like, sometimes we don't stand a fighting chance. So I'm here in representation of the Wicca community to give us a chance to have our voices heard, just to educate people on what the religion really is about. So before I get started into this video, I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you all for being here. It really means so much to me that you're showing your support for my channel. All that being said, I just want to add a little disclaimer before we jump into the video. All the information that I have here is going to be common misconceptions that people have experienced, they have had said to them, that people have thought, or even Wiccans have thought before believing or getting to know what this religion is really about. Now, I want to point out that my response to these misconceptions is a response based on a Wiccan that is solitary eclectic and believes in the threefold law. Not all Wiccans follow the threefold law, I personally do, so keep that in mind. Again, not all Wiccans practice witchcraft, so that's just a thing to bear in mind, that I'm a Wiccan that practices witchcraft, that is solitary eclectic and believes in the threefold law. So that is a lot of what my belief is coming from in response to these, and it's going to be different for everybody. If you're a Wiccan and watching this and thinking, well, I don't agree with that, I understand. You know, that's what I love about Wicca, is that it is completely subjective. But instead of attacking me for anything that I might have said that you don't personally agree with, let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below and say your own personal opinion, because together we can grow. I would really love to understand what you guys have to say about this. Now that I'm going to stop rambling, I always do this. Let's get into the video. Misconception number one that I'm just going to get out of the way now, because it is first and foremost the one thing that is recurring and always comes up in conversation when you say that you're a witch, Wiccan, blah, whatever. We worship the devil / we're Satanists. Now, I just had a call from my nan, so I don't know where we were in the video, but basically, I just want to say from the very start, the very off point, this is 100,000,000% completely incorrect. Being a Satanist is a completely different religion to being Wiccan. The majority of Wiccans don't believe there even is a hell. The majority of Wiccans don't believe in the devil. This is a Christian notion. It is part of the Christian religion. We don't believe in such a place. To say that we believe in the devil and its existence goes against pretty much everything we believe, because there is no place for Wiccans. Wiccans don't need a scare tactic to say, if you do something wrong, you're going to go to this really bad place for the rest of your life. That's not how it works. Personally, I don't know much about Satanists because I don't know any Satanists, and it's not something that I'm drawn to, so it's not necessarily something that I have done extensive research in. However, just because they might worship or believe in the devil doesn't necessarily mean they are this awful demonic person. That's not how it works. It's like pulling the death card in tarot. It doesn't necessarily mean, oh my god, you're gonna die. It's not this dire horrible thing. It can mean new beginnings, it can mean a fresh start, it's putting things to bed and coming anew. So don't judge people based on what a certain religion says that something is like. Now that you all know this shock horror, you know, secret has been let out that we don't actually worship the devil, we can start afresh. Moving on, because I feel like I rambled on for that for way too long. As usual, misconception number 2. All witches wear black. Now, as you can see, because I'm pretty much dressed up as a human tulip, I adore colour. As you can see from my clothes rack behind me, or hopefully you can see, I love colour. I love being bright, and I love wearing nice dresses, and I love being girly and just soft, gentle, ethereal, you know, really pink witch, shall we say. I love that. And I went through a point where I was literally like, am I a bad witch because I don't dress a certain way? Because I don't wear the black clothes and the black hat? And then I was like, well, society has only told me that I should wear that to be a witch. Don't get me wrong, like, I love my black pieces, but I'm very much a floral person, and sometimes you have to let go of what society tells you should look like. Not all witches wear black. Maybe you're a Wiccan that is more of a garden witch or a garden Wiccan. or a kitchen witch, and you're going to be in aprons and messy clothes, or you're in cute dresses because you want to go outside, or you're in overalls, and you don't have to dress a certain way to be a Wiccan. I went to Pagan Pride in Nottingham, I think it was like 2 years ago. It was amazing. They were like the most brightly dressed, like I want to say hippie characters, because they were like all in bright colours and robes, and it was just like a rainbow, like a celebration of life. Misconception number 3. You can't practice Wicca if you don't believe in all parts associated with Wicca. What I assume this means is to be a Wiccan you have to do tarot, you have to do magic, you have to be a practicing witch. This is completely incorrect. The great thing about Wicca is you can build your own path as you go along. So you don't necessarily have to follow every single thing. You don't have to load it all on yourself. Even if you want to do everything, that's fine. But just pace yourself in going through it. You don't have to take everything on. And this is especially important for newcomers into the practice. You don't have to know everything. You're beginners. You're still learning. I'm still learning. I've been doing this for like 7 years or maybe more. Like I don't know the exact top of my head, but don't have to know everything all at once. Do I know everything about Wicca? No. Do I sometimes forget my Sabbats? Yes. Like we are all human and it's a learning process. Misconception number 4. We hex or curse people. We don't hex or curse people, no. Do we have the ability to? Yes. Do we have the knowledge to? Yes, probably. Do we have the power to? Most definitely. But do we hex and curse people? Generally, no. There is a massive thing recently with new age witches and millennials being like, oh, we're a witch, blah, blah, blah. Like they have a little argument and they're like, oh, well, we're gonna hex you. Like that is completely not what Wicca should be. Wicca should be a positive thing, a giving thing, a respectful, loving thing that you nurture, and you have the power to do such a thing, but it's you choosing not to that makes you the stronger and more developed witch. Wicca is what all witches practice. Now this goes back into me saying that Wicca and witches are completely different things. Not all witches are Wiccans and not all Wiccans are witches. Witches are somebody that practice witchcraft. Wiccans are somebody that practices witchcraft or not, depending on their personal beliefs, and follows the threefold law. So you can be a Wiccan and not practice witchcraft. Witchcraft doesn't follow the threefold law, but they practice witchcraft. And you might see a witch merged with other religions, so a Christian witch or a green witch. Once you get your head around it, it makes sense, but until then it's a bit like, what did you just say? Fortune tellers / psychics are Wiccan, i.e. tarot is something only Wiccans and witches can do. A large amount of Wiccans do practice tarot. However, you don't have to be a Wiccan to practice tarot. You might have no religion and practice tarot. That is absolutely fine. Like, there is no requirements for being able to practice tarot. There just happens to be a large number of Wiccans, witches, people who follow a pagan path that do choose to practice tarot and provide readings. As for psychics, I know a lot of psychics that are not Wiccan at all, that don't practice witchcraft. They connect with spirits, however, they don't follow the faith of Wicca and witchcraft. I feel like a lot of them, even though they follow spiritual connection and belief in the spiritual realm, they don't necessarily believe in the Wicca and witchcraft part. And I think it gets a little muddy and a little bit confusing because a lot of Wiccans and witches do believe in the spiritual connection as well. However, you have to remember that it is personal choice. You don't have to believe in one or the other to necessarily believe in spirits, and you can completely believe in something else being there without necessarily a religious explanation for that, okay? Specifically one psychic we had here in this house, because I live in a 16th century house, there was a large point or portion of my life where it was extremely active in activity. He specifically said, I hope you don't have ghosts or spiritual activity from those that were Wiccan, because you will never get rid of them. He says that they are horrible and they will never leave. At that point in my life, I was exploring religion. I was exploring what I wanted to believe in and what I did believe in, because I didn't just want to be a sheep. And I was a bit like, what are you saying? Like, you can't just go around saying that. And I was so taken aback by it. I was literally like, the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't say things like that. And considering at that point as well, it wasn't really a religion that people knew about, I was just so shocked. I was so shocked, because the amount of times that Wicca crosses over with the same beliefs that spiritualists believe in, it's like, it was so rude. Like, don't even get me started on that whole experience. It's a tea talk or a mukbang experience that I'm gonna have to share with you, because it is one for the books, guys. Misconception number 7. We live in an imaginary world. Like, I understand why people might think this, like, and I can see that people might think this because of our particular beliefs, and a lot of our beliefs is to do with the representation of things and not just the representation, but I'd say how things feel and manifest rather than things that you can physically see. So they might say that because obviously we believe we have magic and that we can perform spells. Okay, so just because my religion says that magic is real, I don't boo-hoo your religion that says that you have a god sitting in the clouds above us. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be obnoxious, I'm not trying to be rude to Christians, I'm just saying as an example, if we said something like that about that kind of religion, I think there'd be an absolute uproar. So just because that you can't see it or you don't believe it doesn't mean that it's not true. It's not imaginary. You do yoga, say, and you move or you raise your arms up. So everyone raise your arms up right now, just for 5 minutes. You tell me that you can't feel the energy of the fingers, like from the fingertips moving down from your hands. Like, of course you can. We have energy, and I always think back to Scott Cunningham's book Wicker, and in that he gets you to do a practice where you imagine the energy radiating to your hands and feeling it from your hands, and it takes a lot of meditation to do this. However, it's always been something that comes so naturally to me. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but I can sit here and I can feel, it's like a vibration or a tingle, and I can feel it, and I've always felt that, and that is my magic, that is my energy, that is everything that I'm putting out into the universe, and everything that you do put out radiates from you. Like, it's like having an aura, and for me that is the magic, you know. You put your energy into whatever you communicate with, whatever you touch, and whatever you just put out into the universe. So that's why I believe so strongly in the threefold law, that whatever you put out you get back. I completely rambled on there, didn't I? Misconception number 8. We do animal sacrifice. Now this is a bit of a funny one, and I wasn't going to include it, but I want to. I know that animal sacrifice has long connotations with witchcraft and Wicca. It is an extremely ancient practice, okay? However, from a modern witch's point of view, one that believes in Wicca and the threefold law, harm none, do what you will, I would never, ever perform an animal sacrifice. And I think I'm speaking for the majority of Wiccans that believe the same. So I had a job working in an animal science laboratory at university, and they didn't tell me at the interview, however, down the road I had to learn how to cull an animal. Now, I don't have any problem with working in a science facility because I could see that those animals were cared for. I knew if I cared for them then they'd be done a justice, and they look like these horrible dark shady places from the outside. It was nothing like that. It was actually, they had a really good quality of life, and somewhat, if not better, than keeping a mouse or a rat in your room. You know, probably get more attention in the science facility. However, when it comes to culling, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. It absolutely broke my heart because they were having to cull animals that weren't necessarily sick. And I could do it for a sick animal, don't get me wrong, because I don't want to see any animal suffering or in pain. However, I don't want to see a healthy animal culled, and I don't want to be responsible for that, because as part of my religion I will not hurt or kill an innocent animal. I don't think it's valuable to the practice either. It's not required, it's not necessary in my beliefs, okay? So from a threefold law believing Solitary Eclectic Wiccan, no, we don't perform animal sacrifice. Some religions might. Some strains of paganism might perform animal sacrifice, because I was part of a Facebook group where someone shared a animal sacrifice that they did, and because of that I ended up leaving. I didn't agree with it. I couldn't watch it, I couldn't hack it, and I didn't want to be a part of a group that was open to that. However, it does exist. Going out into the wild and foraging for bones or anything they find natural in the environment, yes, completely, 100%, because that is the end of the animal's life. It is a natural thing. It is utilising what has been returned to nature, essentially. Common misconception number 9. It's illegal to practice Wicca. Now, this came from somebody within the US. I'm based in England, so I've never come across anything where someone has said that it is illegal. However, they have personally been told that it is illegal. And I'm not too familiar with what each state says regarding religion. However, someone did respond to that and say it is completely incorrect, because every person, because it comes under a religion, every person has the right to whatever religion that they want. And it's completely incorrect for you to say or tell people that it is illegal, because, well, you don't want to be shaming somebody for their religion, one that isn't even harming anybody. So it's completely not illegal. There is nothing in the practice or to do with the practice that would make it illegal. other than the non-belief of God. Wicca is the practice of all magic. I've briefly touched on this. So essentially the way Wiccans describe it, or the way I describe it, is there is light magic, there is dark magic, and then there is grey magic. So personally my practice strays more towards the light. I am very much a light Wiccan. However, you have to live in a society or a world where there is balance, so you cannot have the light without the dark. There's a lot of Wiccans / witches that describe their practice as grey, so they say that there is no such thing as light and dark, there is only grey magic, which is sort of neutrality between the two combined. Just because you're a Wiccan doesn't mean that you have to, one, label it. You don't have to say that you believe in white, dark, grey, whatever. You also don't have to practice magic at all. So to say that Wiccans practice all magic is incorrect, because not all Wiccans practice magic at all. Misconception 11. This one made me giggle. I had to include it. We can turn people into frogs. I can do the thing from Bewitched where she's like and then boop, it just goes into a frog. Now, if I heard this, I've not personally heard this myself, if I heard this, I wouldn't help but laugh. I really wouldn't. I mean, no, I've been hesitating. No, I should just say that we can't turn people into frogs, or can we? I wish my magic manifested in such a way. Common misconception number 12. We can summon demons. Now, I'm just going to say, specifically Wiccans, no, we can't summon demons. However, say you have a Ouija board, and this goes for anybody, by the way, not just Wiccans, not just witches, not just any religious or spiritual group. Anybody have a Ouija board. I fully believe that you can summon entities, demons, whatever. I fully believe in the whole Ouija board practice. Common misconception 13. Everyone who practices magic is Wiccan. No. So as I previously said, not all Wiccans practice magic. Not everybody that practices magic believes in Wicca. So witches, they practice witchcraft. However, they don't necessarily follow the threefold law and practice Wicca, which is sometimes just practice solely magic, solely witchcraft. However, they might not do tarot, they might not follow tasseography, they might not do any extra thing, they might not do any study, they might just literally do magic. Common misconception number 14. Only women practice magic. This is incorrect. However, I did just want to point out that I feel like there is a larger number of female Wiccans, witches, or people that practice witchcraft within the community, because, well, I think the reason for that is that they are more spiritually open. So women tend to be more empathetic, emotionally available. I know personally, I wear my heart on my sleeve, you know, I cry all the time, I'm emotionally ready and accepting of spirituality and all that sort of thing, whereas I feel like males can associate that with being maybe soft, you might call it like soft, or I don't know, I think there's a certain vulnerability to being a Wicca, and it's very much like a self-reflection thing as well, so a lot of men don't like to do things like that, although I do feel like a lot of men connect with other pagan religions. So they might follow like a Nordic path, they might follow Satanism, they might follow shamanism, they might be a druid. I feel like a lot of males follow other paths. However, it's not limited to females, so if you're a male and you are looking into witchcraft or Wicca, don't let this put you off. Please come join us, we would love to have you with us. Question number 15, and I think I'm going to leave it after this one because it's getting quite long. Wicca is focused on dark magic. Now, I've kind of spoke about this already, so no, Wicca is not focused on dark magic. If anything, it's the complete opposite, because I feel like Wicca is very much focused on harming nobody. You know, you've got the threefold rule there that says anything you put out into the world is going to come back. So if you are actively doing dark magic and believe in the threefold rule, you'd be feeling pretty shitty. So yeah, I just want to say as well that not all Wiccans follow the threefold rule. So some Wiccans might practice dark magic. However, it's not focused on dark magic at all. If anything, it's focused on nature and the appreciation of nature and connecting with yourself and the love of the environment and of the people and animals, and it's just a very wholesome place to be. So I think that's where we're going to end it here. I did 15 misconceptions. However, if you guys have any more for me, please do leave them down below because I would love to read them. I'd love to respond to see what you thought of this video, and I might do a part 2 if we come up with enough misconceptions or things that you have heard, things that you may have believed yourself before you was a Wiccan, things that you may believe now, things that, just anything that you guys can think of, experiences that you've had, put them down below and I might feature you next time, if there is a next time in part 2. I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. It was actually nice to just sit down and talk. I feel like I've not done this for a while. I hope you guys are all staying safe. I know that it's a crazy time in the world right now. We can all pull together and we can all get through this. So stay indoors, stay safe. Thank you so much for being here with me today. It has meant the world. Thank you for listening to me ramble, as always. I don't want that to be my outro. Oh my gosh, I need to stop saying that. I will see you guys in the next video. Please don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Bye! Merge with the religion. Merge with the religion.